Hello, beautifuls. Thank you for stopping in for another conversation. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love what I do, and I love watching the growth of this channel, albeit it's slow, but it is steady. And that is thanks to each and every one of you. So if you are new, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. We've been talking a lot about identity lately. And I want to expand just a little bit more today. And this is on the aspect of how understanding and knowing on a cellular level how our identity impacts our behavior also will help us in our day-to-day interactions with others. And that is because when we understand that it is what we believe about ourselves that influences our behaviors, our thoughts, all of the things. When somebody interacts with us in a way that is unkind or harsh or throws the proverbial crap at us, we can actually sit back in like a pocket and be like, oh yeah, I get it. Because we understand that it is who they believe they are that is responding that way. And we also know that that is not who they are, and we can hold space for their true identity. And this is beautiful. This is not a cognitive thing. This becomes an experiential thing. So we have no need to respond or react, and not from a place of spiritual bypassing. And I say this because that is a place where I was sitting for a long time, right? Somebody would, and I'd be like, oh, that's them. And I'm looking at and I am loving the greater aspect of them. But in that place, I still had righteous, maybe egoic belief about them, about myself. There was judgment about them. There definitely was emotion about what transpired. And in that place where I continued to try to hold on to the idea of, yet no, it doesn't really matter because that's just who they are, I was bypassing the important emotions and responses that needed to come through. And it wasn't until the understanding of identity sunk much deeper and I experienced something, an interaction that many would say would categorize as less than pleasant. And this odd thing happened where I was in this pocket and I understood it was completely about what they believed, what they felt, what they thought they were, and why they needed to act that way. And in no way did I feel any emotion about it other than compassion. I didn't judge them. I didn't hold a belief about any aspect about it other than that's who they believe they are, and I know that's not who they are. Can you imagine being, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that all the time, but that was my experience, and it was so profound. And I was like, oh, I understand the parable that I recently heard. And see, these things all line up synchronistically. I recently heard a parable about the Buddha. And apparently the Buddha was sitting and he was with his disciples and he was teaching. He was sharing a lesson. And somebody from the crowd did not like what he was sharing and got up, walked towards the Buddha, and actually spit on him. And of course, his disciples became enraged, indignant, and they wanted to jump to his defense. And the Buddha told them to chill, right? To just leave it. And they petitioned him and he said, no, leave it. And the man left. A couple weeks passed and the gentleman who spit on the Buddha came again to the meeting. And he came up to the Buddha and he apologized. He said, I'm so sorry and I ask for your forgiveness. And the Buddha said, for what are you asking for forgiveness? And he said, don't you remember me? I'm the man who spit on you. And the Buddha said, no, you're not the man that spit on me. And he said, yes, I am. I am that man who spit on you, and I am so very sorry, and I'm trying to apologize to you. And the Buddha again said, no, you are not that man. And falling to his knees, he said, please forgive me. Yes, I am that man. I feel that. Sorry. Not sorry. And the Buddha said to him, you are not that man, because that man would never be before me apologizing. And it is all about our identity. In the first identity that he had, he was indignant, he was self-righteous, and he felt that he needed to defend what he believed. And in that place, he lashed out and attacked the Buddha. But when he changed his belief, he changed who he was. And that was why the Buddha did not recognize him as the man who spit on him. Yes, he recognized his face, but he recognized him as being a different person. And so the invitation today for each and every one of us is to try to find that pocket for ourselves, understanding that, you know what, we might not be the person we were 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 minutes ago, and that's okay. And to also hold space for those who have yet to recognize what their true identity is, and they are busy in whatever way they feel and think they need to protect that identity. I thank you so much for stopping by today. If you have enjoyed this conversation, again, a like, a share is greatly appreciated. It helps increase the algorithm and spread the message. And thank you so much for your subscriptions and for those wonderful, generous souls who are able and willing to donate and have done so. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Until we speak again, please be well.